With that being said, guys, we're gonna bring in right now the man of the hour. Of course, former great TNA star, really loved his gimmick and his work in TNA. So he's a graduate of the Dudley Boys Wrestling School, 3D Academy. We're going to bring in right now the man himself, none other than Samuel Shaw. Welcome to Under the Man Radio.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you feeling? How you feeling today?
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you good. Can you hear us fine?
Yeah, there was like an echo at first, but whatever.
Yeah, we apologize for that. You're not, it's
No,
technology. Hey, how you feeling, man? You good?
I'm good, man. Life is good.
It is. Well, thank you for coming on to the show. I know you're very
Thanks
busy,
for having
man.
me.
No problem, man. We definitely enjoyed it. I'm sure, real quick, you came on and you kind of heard the tail end of us talking about football and Tom Brady and the tumble Michael Vick. Let us know, are you a football fan? And if so, what's your favorite team?
Oh, I used to be such a football fan, and just over the years, just schedule has just not permitted me to really have that extracurricular activity time to really enjoy football. Although me and EC3 enjoyed we went to a Jaguars, Browns game. And, of course, the Browns lost to the Jaguars. The Jaguars just seem to, I'm from Jacksonville, by the way, Jacksonville, Florida. Jaguars always seem to sort of disappoint me, but they actually pulled a win out last year over EC3's team, and it was quite an enjoyable experience.
Nothing wrong with that. Thank you much for that. We did.
Cleveland?
What was that, Sean?
All right.
Is it EC3 from Cleveland?
Yes.
Wow. There's two losers from Cleveland, EC3 and The Miz.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, like no tax at all. Wow.
None at all. Sam,
No.
He's
EC3
just taking around. We met EC3 before. He's a good guy. At the show, very good guy. Very good guy. What would you like for us to call you? Want us to call you Samuel, Sam?
Oh, it doesn't matter, man. I mean, my birth name is Samuel, so I think that's pretty awesome that I was referred to as Samuel Shaw in TNA. It has a nice little ring to it.
Yeah, we do
and
like
it's
that.
my name, so.
And you own it. There you go.
Absolutely.
Just don't call him sleazy.
Just want to ask you too, of course, before we get to your past, your work in TNA. We shout out to Toph and some of my other workers. I started watching TNA for a couple of weeks, and you got to watch this Sam Shaw dude. I was like, who's that? They said, you got to watch. He kind of like the serial killer dude from like American Psycho. Got like the wire, and I see you do like the little creepy walk and wearing the gloves. And I instantly loved it. At NC Gameboy, we definitely loved your character. One of the fresher things in TNA at the time. So if you don't mind, talk to us about working in TNA and talk to us about your character and how it came about.
Well, I'm sure you guys know how I sort of came to TNA as a gut check contestant, and for some reason I just knew. I watched Alex Silva. He was like the first gut check winner. I watched that on YouTube one day, and I was like, I just have a feeling. I just have this feeling, because I'd been doing so much stuff with TNA at that point, going to Team 3D Academy, sort of afforded me the pleasure of Bubba Ray always having me up to the Impact Zone in Orlando. So I just had this feeling like, okay, gut check is probably going to be my way in, And sure enough, there I was, and I've said this in past interviews, but I feel like I was not supposed to get signed. It was supposed to be a no from the judges, but apparently I pulled out a nice enough performance that I was able to get a job. And, just a young guy looking for a break, and I'm on cloud 9 when I get, hired, and then Al Snow tells me I have to go to OVW. So I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm going to Louisville, Kentucky for about a year. I'm there, and then another regime change happens in TNA, and Bruce Pritchard and Bischoff are gone, and they release 11 or 12 talents, and one of those talents is one of my good friends, Crimson, and him and I were sort of going back and forth from Tennessee to Kentucky to OVW for about a year, and he gets released, and then I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably next, and out of everybody that got released, I was not on that chopping block, and I honestly had no idea why, because it was sort of like they're not doing anything with me, so why would they just not release me and let me be free to go elsewhere? I felt like my talents weren't being utilized, so I actually asked for my release, and they did not grant me my release. And then I got the reason why, and John Gaborik calls me. And he had just come on, and he says, hey, we're really interested in doing something with you. Just give me a couple months. Bear with me, and I got to look at some tape, and, just bear with me. You're getting a check every month, so if you don't mind, just bear with me, and we'll bring you in, and we'll discuss my ideas at a later date. So sure enough, 2 months later, he calls me up, says, hey, we're going to bring you to Oklahoma. We want you to have a match, and I want to talk to you about an idea I have for you. I go to Oklahoma, and he brings up this American Psycho character, and, I mean, I was just, like, on cloud 9 once again. I was just like, let's just start this, like, right now, because I already have a grasp on this character. You don't even have to tell me anymore, And I remember just going home for about a week and just watching the movie, rewinding, studying the nuances, the walk, the talk, everything about, Christian Bale, his character in American Psycho, and not to mention I added some elements of Dexter, and, they definitely wanted a different look to the character as opposed to just trunks and whatever, boots, big pads. They wanted something that was going to be totally different. And what better, if I'm such a fan of these shows, these elements from these movies and TV shows, than to just incorporate exactly what Dexter wore and slick my hair back like Christian Bale did. So I hope that answered your question. I know I can go on a rant sometimes, but...
Oh, no, you good. You can go ahead. It's all fine. It's all fine. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. How much, before I turn it over to you, my co-host, how much freedom did you have with your character? Did they say, all right, Sam, watch the movies, do whatever you want, or did you feel like you had some kind of limit, some kind of leash?
Man, I really feel like John Gaborik presented me with this idea, but he really just sort of let me run with it and sort of dictate a lot of the mannerisms, the way he looked and acted, and his cadence, the way he spoke. And he trusted me. He trusted me enough to let me run with that. And he was right there for a lot of the beginning elements of my character, and he was there as a producer, and he helped me a lot, and I owe him a lot for really believing in me to play such an interesting character. It was just such a breath of fresh air, man. It was something really tangible that I could latch on to, and I had a blast doing it. And honestly, I don't think it's the end of this character whatsoever. Whether it be back in TNA one day, I don't know. I'm not saying that for sure, but I think that this character can thrive in many different environments.
Okay. Thanks for that. NSC Gameboy.
Oh, I like that answer. I think that I'm gonna call you Sam Yule.
All right.
I like that better.
Samuel.
Okay. Samuel. So what's going on, Samuel? My question to you is, when you had your character, when did you notice that you were getting over with the fans? When did you know that, Samuel Shaw was really getting over with the fans?
Oh, man, it was just, I think one of the keys to this character was just the vignettes. It was a very calculated and just the way that they were able to, over 5 or 6 weeks time, show you what we're dealing with this character. Like, I didn't even have to wrestle. It was just 5 or 6 weeks of sort of weird things that this guy is doing. The first week being, I'm sort of like OCD. Like, I'm like, everything seems cool, and I'm a perfectly normal guy, and, getting over with the ladies here. And then when the ladies leave, it's like I'm sitting there fixing pens and making sure everything's tidy, and almost like overly, a little too much, And I remember just getting text messages like crazy from people and other people in the business, and they're just like, dude, what is that all about? That was like really crazy how they filmed that, and where is it going? And I'm so intrigued by that. And it was just 1 week, and then so to go further on that, I think when I realized it was really starting to get over was we go to London, England, and we're still running vignettes. I'd had like a couple like little matches or interactions with people, violent interactions backstage, but then it's time to get in front of the big crowd in London, England, and say my apology to Christy Hemme, and here comes Ken Anderson, the hero. And this dude comes out and calls me a creepy bastard. And then the whole London, England crowd chanting creepy bastard. And I mean, what? I should be offended by that, right? But no, I had like goosebumps because it was just like, holy cow, this is something that I can grasp, we're just having a blast. We're feeding off of each other. Like Christy, Ken, and I just feel like we had a really good chemistry, and that's when I really felt like the character was starting to work.
All right. Thank you, my dude. Thank you. Back to you, Tech.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, man. Samuel. Call you that.
And yo.
Yeah, yo. You ain't gonna forget us on that one. All right. Now, I said, no, Sam, like, well, let you know, man, we was totally different. Like I told you off air, Sam, was totally different from anything else. They might have fun over here. Two things. I don't know what you did that creepy, I don't know what the hell you call that, crawl or glide in the ring, that little hand. I don't know how you do that. How did you come up with that, the little glide hand thing you do when you like slide in the ring? And
oh man.
Talk about your artist ability. I'm a little artist too. I have a degree in art. We both draw, and if you've seen our logo, we have a buddy who's a professional cartoonist that do cartoons for wrestlers, and he did our logo. And I saw some of your work on Twitter, and I said, wow. I showed it to my girlfriend and my family. Like, wow, Samuel. I said, man, Sam got some talent. He drawing the Joker and he drawing everybody. That's pretty cool. So, tell us about the creepy walk, the Sam strut, and then tell us about your artistic abilities.
Oh man, I think I was just thinking one day, like, I mean, my head was just going crazy with whatever like little creepy nuances I could pull out of the old, from under the sleeve. And I think one thing that I remembered was like seeing in the abundance of zombie flicks that I've seen, I think I saw a zombie that had no legs, and he was just using his arms to crawl and try and get these people and eat them. And I think that just sort of resonated with me. I was like, man, I should like try that in the ring. Like after I pin a guy, like if I don't like Earl Hebner's ref count, like I'll crawl over the opponent and I'll just make my way towards Earl and scare the shit out of him. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always put it over huge, like he did with Undertaker. Like he'd jump out of the ring like he's freaked out, and that just like got it over even more, you know. So can't thank Earl Hebner enough for that.
Oh man. Cool.
And then about my artwork, did you have a question about that? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was saying I'm an artist as well. I have a degree in it, and I checked your Twitter
cool.
and I saw you drew a great picture of the Joker and one of my favorites, and you drew some other things. So how'd you come about drawing? How long have you drawn, and have you done work for any of the other boys?
Oh yeah, yeah. To answer your question, I think my artwork just stemmed from, you know, me growing up watching cartoons like Superman and Batman and whatever else, but also wrestling. And then when those shows were over, you know, on a Saturday morning, it's like, well, I don't want it to end. Like, how can I make this, you know, continue? Like, I want to see these superstars, these heroes, all the time. So how do I do that? Well, here's some crayons and paper, and hey, Mom, draw me Hulk Hogan. Oh, you didn't get his boots right. And then she just handed me the crayon, and I start drawing the boots the right way. And she's like, okay, well, then that's what you need to do. You just draw yourself. You don't need me to do it. So, and then that just turned into like, okay, all through school, like all these teachers are saying, okay, your son has some sort of gift with artwork, so, you know, he could really do something with this. And, you know, come to college, and I go to Savannah College of Art and Design, and I major in illustration. And since that time, I mean, I've done work for so many of the boys, so many wrestlers. Pro Wrestling Tees is a big supporter of me, and they're always reaching out to me to do designs for them. And just being, you know, in TNA and being you know, on Spike TV and then Destination America for what sort of, in my mind, equates to very little time. But in that short amount of time, I mean, my social media presence has gone up dramatically, and, you know, it's just amazing how much of a reach you have with whatever you post on these social media outlets. And I think it's really cool. I think a lot of the fans respect the fact that I can, I'm not just a totally just creepy guy who just sits in his room and thinks about redheaded girls. You know, this guy is actually talented. He thinks about some of the really cool things that wrestling fans think of. And I do, you know, comic book conventions. I just did one in Miami with Jerry the King Lawler and Michael Kingston, and he has a comic book called Headlock.
Oh, that's like your buddy.
Yeah, it's something that I think everybody should check out, because I feel like if there was ever a time that they needed to make like a TV show, not like Total Divas or like Tough Enough, but like, let's say you get actors to play these characters. Like, I think if they looked at Michael Kingston's Headlock comic book, it's perfect drama, perfect for this day and age of TV, with all the TV shows we have out. You know, I'm getting off topic here, but just being in that environment at a comic convention just feels like home to me. Like sitting with Jerry Lawler, and we're sitting there drawing together. Like he was drawing Superman, and I'm drawing Dusty Rhodes, and fans are coming up to us. Fans are just like, you know, wow, this is really cool, you know, and I'm just like on cloud nine as well. So.
Just imagine that fight, Dusty Rhodes, baby, versus Superman. Bionic elbow.
You need to watch out for that bionic elbow. It's deadly.
Go ahead. Turn over to NFC Gameboy. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my next question to you is pretty much about personal. When you was on the rise, going into the 3D camp, you know, with the Dudleys and everything, tell us some of the grueling examples of trying to get through one of the toughest wrestling schools in the nation. Just give us, if you can, a few stories to the fans, just how grueling it was to you know, make it to the top.
Yeah, and there's one that comes to mind like almost immediately, and It's almost like I'm putting myself over when I tell this story, but I'll tell you, like, straight up, at the time, it was like, I was, like, really worried about this. So I said earlier, you know, I was afforded the luxury of, you know, I think being one of Bubba and Devon's, like, you know, pretty good prospects. Like, I felt like they started to see, okay, this guy's really athletic. This guy has something as a passion for the business. And, you know, we put him through the ringer quite a bit. Like, the workouts and the psychology and everything, it wears on you. And there's days you don't want to go. But I think that's what separates the guys that want to make it and the guys that just fall off. They just, you know, they say, man, I don't want to go to training today. I'm so beat up. And they don't go. And then it turns into they don't go for 2 days, 3 days, and then it turns into they just go back home. You know, I moved to Orlando with about $500 to my name. And, you know, I still had no idea where I was going to stay. You know, I bunked up with another wrestler, and we started going to Team 3D Academy. And, I mean, it was brutal training. We were training in a very small, tight room with, you know, little to no AC in the room, just one big fan. And I know there's a lot of wrestling schools like that, but, you know, you're paying for a totally unique education. You're paying for guys that have made a lot of money in this business to train you. To be honest with you, I'm not looking for cheap training from somebody that hasn't been anywhere. Like, I'd rather go learn from the most highly decorated tag team in history who have made tons of money, because I want to make tons of money and be highly decorated. But anyway, I will tell you a quick story. I was afforded the luxury of being invited to TNA quite a bit, and I was just trying to get a break. So anytime I was at work, Bubba would call me and say, hey, can you come up here? Sure. You drop everything. You have a bag packed, and that's what I was taught. You have your bag in your car, you know, sitting in your trunk, and you're just ready to go at all times. So I'd leave work, go up to TNA, whatever, do my tryout, do an extra spot, whatever. One night he texts me really late, and he says, hey, we need you and 4 or 5 other guys to be up here tomorrow, dress nice. So I'm thinking, okay, I've done this before, you know, just wear like a nice button-down shirt and whatnot. So I show up. We all show up, and some of the guys are wearing jeans. And some of them have, like, scraggly, you know, cut jeans at the bottom, and just we're all just not looking very professional. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
One look from Bubba Ray, and he's fuming mad, and I knew it was all on me. Like, the heat was on me. And he said that he was contemplating sending us home. But somehow we made it through the day. I thought everything was fine, and turns out the next day at practice, which I missed, everybody that was involved with this little incident had to do 1,000 squats in the ring nonstop. And I got text messages from all these guys and saying, thanks, I just ripped my asshole out. Thanks, I just tore my quad. Thanks, I just puked everywhere. And apparently Bubba said, okay, Sam's not here. Don't think I won't go to one of his indie shows and make him do it in front of the locker room. So I'm like doing indie shows every weekend thinking that Bubba's going to show up and make me do squats in front of all the boys. So finally 2 weeks passes, and I show up to the school, and Bubba finally shows up, and then he says, Sam, get your ass in the ring, do 1,000 squats. If you stop, I'm going to run in the ring and kick you in the head, and you'll be gone from the school and never come back. So it just became, okay, I did 200 squats. Okay, I did 300. I got to 500, and it became a mental game. I just stared at some little letter on the wall and just said, okay, I got to get through this somehow. Like, I want to show him that this isn't going to deter me. This isn't going to stop me. So I finished 1,000 squats. Nobody else did. And that's the part that I said, you know, I was just going to put myself over. But no one else did 1,000 squats, and I did. And that just showed me that I was mentally tough. And I would have never done that had Bubba not tested me like that.
Right.
So, and among, you know, that and among many other situations, Bubba has been, you know, like this hard-nosed father figure to me, and Devon was like a father figure as well, and Dan Carr, a strength and conditioning coach there, and it's just the environment that has, like, shaped me, molded me, and I really just don't think that there's anything in this business that I'm afraid of because of what I've gone through with them.
Right. Oh, man. It was a great
Good
man.
answer,
Of course.
man. Great story.
Love that, man. You got to put yourself over. That's your job as a worker. As a wrestler, you got to get yourself over some way. Now, of course, ironically, the Dudley Boys made their return to WWE last week, which was great. Everybody marked out. We all did. I loved it. Talk about, and we've had, I believe we had not Jesse was what's his name? NFC Gameboy was in TNA. He graduated from the academy too. Jesse Neal. We interviewed Jesse Neal before too, or another fellow graduate. And like we asked him, we're gonna ask you, Samuel, is explain the differences between Bubba and Devon. I know notoriously Bubba gets the tough New Yorker. Some people call him an asshole, and he's tough. And they say, well, Devon's cool. He's tough, but it's like Bubba's the bad cop and Devon's the good cop. Or Devon's the bad brother and Bubba's the bad brother and Devon's the good brother. Is that true, or do you have a different take on that?
I mean, I think they're both so much alike in so many ways, but so different in so many ways. It would take me forever to explain all of that. But I mean, in essence, I think you pretty much nailed it. It's just Bubba is more the hard ass, and Devon's the little bit more leeway, a little bit more understanding. And hopefully, if Devon hears this, he's not gonna call me and tell me he's gonna kick my ass. But to be honest with you, and anybody that's trained at Team 3D Academy can attest to this. It's just easier to go to Devon and talk to him. You know what I mean? And
okay.
But that to me was always well, if it's harder to go talk to Bubba and reach him, I mean, that's what I should be striving for, I love my relationship with Devon, and like I said, I think of him as a father figure, and I think of Bubba that way too, because I feel like both of those guys are not going to bullshit you.
Right.
If they think you suck and you don't have what it takes, they'll let you train at the school. You got to pay your dues, and you can go there as long as you want. And it's not them stealing your money. It's if they think you're never going to make it, because who's to say that you're never going to make it? We've seen, how many people have we seen that we just would have never imagined would have made it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in a wrestling role. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, there are some major differences between the two, but love them both to death, and I wouldn't change anything about those guys.
What makes that academy the best academy to go to if you want to be a pro wrestler?
Well, something that I touched on earlier, it's I feel like if you have somebody that's, in a lot of people's minds, so intimidating, like a Bubba Ray, somebody that's not going to, bullshit you whatsoever. This guy, he learned his psychology from Paul Heyman, from Pat Patterson, from Vince McMahon. This is a guy that made millions of dollars in the business, and both him and Devon. And it's I feel like once I was able to sort of get over with them, my any nervousness or fears are sort of diminished elsewhere. It doesn't bother me whatsoever to see or the idea of Dixie Carter or Vince McMahon walking by. Some people are oh shit, there's Vince McMahon, To me, it's there's Vince McMahon. I want to meet this guy. Let's go. Let's do this thing. You know what I mean? I want to impress him. I have no fear of getting in front of him and possibly failing, because at least I know I put everything into it, and I think that's what they taught me.
Okay. Thanks for that. Yeah, we like Samuel.
I like Samuel. I mean, I like your attitude.
I like you guys too.
Yeah, not too many workers would do that. they will try to use their friends, or they try to use scenarios to try to get the best of someone so they can look good. There's a rare breed of guys and girls who will actually go out there and say, I know I'm good because I've been through the best and I've been in the best situations that make me show that I'm the best. And I like that about you. I noticed that in every story that you're telling and illustration that you're bringing out to us, that you're making sure that the fans and us ourselves know that you're willing to do whatever it takes. And I think that's that same notion that a lot of the guys in the business are looking for, and they're just not finding in this generation anymore. A lot of these guys, they're scared. They feel as that they're comfortable, they're content at where they at, and they feel as that they're not going to go anywhere, so they can just ride this out and that's it. And I really think that your attitude is amazing to hear that. And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, Samuel. I mean, I'm just giving you the real. I mean, I really admire that about you. So
no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. You all ready?
Thank you.
So, gotta ask you, being in TNA, how did you adjust to working? You worked in both the traditional 4-sided ring, and of course TNA at one point had the 6-sided ring. Did you have to adjust your style in the ring depending on how it was?
Depending on the shape of the ring?
Yes.
Not so much. I actually liked when we debuted the 6-sided ring again, when we re-debuted it, I should say, in New York City. I just noticed immediately there's like a lot more room in the middle of the bump and a nice little sweet spot there, you know what I mean? You got to cover a little bit more distance when you're running the ropes, but that's not a big deal to me. Like, honestly, I think most of the boys actually did like it. And it gives you more options, and I think it's definitely visually appealing more so than a 4-sided ring if you're trying to set yourself apart.
Okay. If you make fan question, Sam Shaw, who's been a fan of you, can you talk about your rivalry with Mr. Anderson and when he visited your childhood home?
Well, what's there to say about Mr. Anderson? When they told me I was going to be involved with him, and I mean, it's just like, this is like a veteran, looked at as a locker room leader, somebody that all the young guys go to ask questions, if they're smart. Because this guy has been down the road, he's been around the world, working for other promotions, and he's had a nice run in TNA as well, and I think it was like the most perfect option, a perfect hero to go against, this weird, creepy, sadistic, creepy bastard, Samuel Shaw. I just think that it couldn't have been a better choice for the guy that was going to save the damsel in distress, and I think I don't know, I just feel like he really taught me how to slow things down, and make everything mean something, and I feel like that guy is so good at he has no fear of getting in the ring with a totally different style, because the guy can adapt. He just gets it. And not only did I work with him, I traveled the road with him and really picked his brain, and I really got to see,
right.
It was just such an amazing learning experience. And this is like a guy that, again, he's good friends with Bubba Ray, and that was the thing I was taught by Bubba Ray, is like, find a veteran and ride with him. Don't just get in the car with like your best friend in the business or your best buddies, or guys that are your age. Like, have the balls to go up to a veteran and say, "Hey, can I ride with you?" And just sit there and listen, and let him pick your brain and figure you out, and then start picking his brain. And I think we developed a friendship out of the whole thing, and we still keep in touch to this day. And man, I hope we get to work together again. Oh, and to answer that guy's question about him coming to my childhood house. I mean, how ridiculous was that? But just added so much to that story,
Right.
With the little room that wasn't changed, that had the construction paper Samuel on the wall. And how dare Mr. Henderson go into my childhood room with my mother named Christy, who makes me pie. Just absolutely ridiculous. You can only find something like that in wrestling, I'd say.
There is another fan question from Jenny. Apparently, Sam, she wants to ask about American Warrior. Did you have some kind of American Warrior skit or American Ninja Warrior skit that you did? Was you actually ever on the show, or was it like something like with TNA?
Man, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, because that show is it's so popular right now. And, during my time when I was trying to get a job with TNA, I was always looking for any sort of any way to get through the door. And, I was putting my name out there to some casting calls and things like that. And I actually got contacted to submit some information and a video to possibly be considered for American Ninja Warrior. And I made what I thought was a pretty entertaining video, and I'm sure if you go on YouTube you can find a couple of them, because I wound up making another one when I was in Louisville, and actually Crimson helped me make it, because they asked me to do the same thing a second year, and it's like I put all this work and effort into getting on this show and making these videos to sort of set myself apart, and I just wouldn't make it past that. And it's a shame, because I really honestly want to see how well I could do at this thing. And I think why not have a 225-pound wrestler on your show as opposed to these 120-pound little guys that have these obstacle courses built in their backyard just so they could specifically do well on this competition. When I just think why don't you put somebody like me on there who just wants to see if he can get through the shit? You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be more interesting TV?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'd love to see that. The question is, Samuel, is if you didn't make American Ninja Warrior, will Billy Ray beat you up?
he might talk shit to me if I if I fell in the water on the first little obstacle, you know what I mean? That would be kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
I think I was trained better, and I think I'm a little more athletic than to just let it all go downhill after the first little obstacle, So I'd have to do him proud. I mean, there'd be some pressure there for sure.
We're gonna turn over to our correspondent, Toph. Toph, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, you can ask a question to Samuel Shaw.
I don't really have a question, but I just wanted to just share a few words if that was okay.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mr. Shaw. My name's Toph. I just want to say that I was a big fan of your gimmick when a lot of people were attacking your gimmick. I thought that you had one of the best characters, not just in TNA, but in wrestling at the time. Everything about it was different from, the clothing attire you had, the theme song, the glove, the entrance, your finisher where you legit choked people out. You mentioned before that your character was more than just being obsessed with redheads. I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you want to continue your character, Ring of Honor is definitely the place for you, because for whatever reason, every female in that company is an attractive redhead, so you got something to work with there. But I just thought that the character and your wrestling was really over. You kind of reminded me a little bit of Al Snow, kind of like in the ECW, WWF Attitude Era days, because Al Snow kind of had these series of vignettes for a while where he wasn't even wrestling, but he was one of the most over guys with the whole head thing, you know, and sometimes, you know, like every, I guess, 10 to 15 years, you just kind of get this weird kind of character that can just get over in a really short amount of time, and I thought that you were one of them. I wish TNA did more with you, but I just want you to know that there's a lot of fans out there that are huge supporters of your work, and I hope to see you again somewhere, you know, on a TV deal station, hopefully. But I think Ring of Honor would be perfect for you, but I think NXT would be cool too. But I just want to say I'm a big fan of your work.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Al Snow has been like another one that's helped me. Basically, he was pretty much my agent for every match that I ever had in TNA, and I think there was just a chemistry there that couldn't be denied. And I think he helped me because I'm just like so all over the place when I'm, you know, trying to get a match together and everything, and why, you know, figuring out the reasons why we do certain things when we do them. And he's the guy that really directed me and made me realize I didn't need to do as much as I thought I did. You know, like, not saying that I didn't work hard. I'm just saying, like, you know, save some of this stuff. You know, like, why do this when you can do this? And it would make it all that much better and more effective. So he was instrumental in making me figure out the reasons why we do things in this crazy business.
Okay. Thank you for that. So, I want to ask you, Sam, since, of course, your character still is based upon a horror movie. Of course, recently we just lost Wes Craven. So we wanted to know, are you a fan of horror movies? And if so, let us know some of your favorites.
Absolutely. I grew up just being in awe and enamored. Like, I think the first really scary movie that I saw that when I was really young, and I laugh at it now, but like when I saw it then, it like really gave me the creeps, like the nightmares, was Thriller by Michael Jackson. And I think I just had nightmares that, like, you know how the girl was like couch and she was apparently having the nightmare, and then here comes Michael and his zombie crew.
Right.
He breaks down the door and he's reaching for her, and then she wakes up, and it's, you know, that's sort of like what my nightmares were, that Michael Jackson and these zombies were coming for me, you know. And but I don't recall any other movie like after that like freaking me out. Like I was like, yeah, I want to watch Freddy Krueger, I want to watch Jason, I want to watch Michael Myers, like all those like slasher type movies. Like I could sit here and watch over and over again because I'm just such a fan of, you know, all that stuff. I was talking to somebody the other day. I used to stay up really late with my brother. We watch Tales from the Crypt.
Oh yeah.
And that was just like, I mean, just it had one of the best entrance, you know, beginnings to a show ever with the Crypt Keeper. It's just something that sticks with me to this day. And they just don't make them like they used to. I'll say that, but I'm still definitely a fan of the genre, and every once in a while there'll be one that sticks out in my mind. I think if I could mention one, I think I saw one not too long ago, and then I saw the second one. It was called Dead Snow. I think you guys should look for it on Netflix. It's pretty crazy.
Dead Snow. Anything Gameboy, you heard of that?
Not too much.
Yeah, we
have
got
you heard of it, Ted?
No, I haven't actually. No, I haven't. We actually gonna watch it just for you, Samuel. We'll find Dead
What's the
Snow
name of it
Netflix.
again?
It's called Dead Snow. It's about
that's the Nazi. Is that the Nazi one with the zombies or something?
Yep.
Okay, I did see that.
Nazi zombies.
Oh.
Yeah, the Nazi zombies. I did see that. They was in a cabin or something, right?
Yeah,
in the
but go see the
snowstorm.
second one, because the second one was even better, and it was like they had a bigger budget, and it's wild.
Okay. I had to think of it. I forgot the name of it, Chuck. So
That's
yes, I
the
did
Nazi
see it. I didn't
zombie
see
one?
the second one though. It was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good. I didn't see the second one though.
I'm putting that in my queue now, right on my phone. Do that. Sweet. Dead Snow 1 and 2. Then you put that. Maybe Samuel Shaw could show up in part 3 if they do one.
Hell yeah, I'm there. Sign me up.
Go ahead and see Gameboy.
Well, my next question to you is, I want to talk about your family. I want to ask you about, how has being in the wrestling business have impact on your family? Have they been supportive? Have they been against it? How have your personal life been going through with, the change of you being so much as a professional wrestler?
Oh, man, it's definitely an emotional roller coaster, man, but it's like, for the most part, I mean, almost entirely everybody in my life has been supportive. So I think, at first it's like your mom doesn't want you to do something like that because she doesn't really understand it. She's just afraid for your safety and whatever else. And I think once she sees you perform, like in my case, once she saw me perform at an independent show and there was a very significant difference between me and some of the other talent, I think she was actually like, holy shit, I think that he's going to make it, And my whole family is just very supportive of it, and I think I haven't had any serious injuries. I've been doing this since I was 22 years old, and I'm 31 now. And, I feel like I'm 22 still. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm smarter, and I've had a lot of experience now, and it just feels like it's such a part of me. Like, there doesn't really feel like any awkwardness. I just feel like I have such a long time to go. And I think everybody sees that. It'd be another story if they looked at me and like, okay, you've been doing this since you were 22 and you're beat up. Like, you look like shit. You're not taking care of yourself. But my health is like better now than I think it was then. And I'm like training harder. I'm making gains in the gym, and I just feel great. And I think that's the thing. As long as your attitude is good and your body is great and you're feeling like $1 million, like, why stop? You know what I mean?
Right.
So having that part of the family, it's like they just see how much it means to me. So I think they understand that, okay, I got released from TNA, but we all knew, and there's something I was taught by Bubba and Devon, like, you're going to get signed, you're going to get released. What do? You know what I mean? So they understand that I still have this hunger, this fire, this passion for this business, and I'm going to go far. I don't care how many times I get told no or whatever, like the weight game, whatever. Like, I'm going to be doing something in this business, whether anybody likes it or not. You know what I mean?
Man. Yeah, sure. Thanks for that, man. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to lead correspondent Shin. What's up, man? You got a question for Sam? Samuel. Not sure why. I don't know why he said he was phone. Shin, are you there? Not sure why he's there. We're going to bring in Samuel. Almeida Sister Saltine. You there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello,
hey,
Mr. Samuel Shaw. How you doing? I know, because I heard. All right, my question for you is, all right, since all these rumors go around, these news reports come around, is it true that TNA having financial problems while you were there and you had problems getting your money coming to you? If it's possible, you can answer that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, if the rumor's been around for so long, there's obviously something to it, like, maybe I'm not at liberty to, like, go into full details about anything, and there was nothing ever, it wasn't like I never received a check, you know what I mean? Like, I think everybody in the company has been paid. It's just the question of whether, when you got paid. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I never got down to, like, why this, like, the business dealings are the way they are there. It's like if you try and figure it out, you'll just go crazy. But like all I can do is like just show up to work and do my best and hope that I get my check before my rent's due. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh wow. Wow. Thank you.
That is true.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's true. Samuel,
not
what
saying
is that?
and not saying that happens, you know, on a consistent basis. It's just, you know, every so often it's like very inconvenient if it does happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know what you mean. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alton.
Yeah, no
Samuel,
problem.
what is next for you, man? Do you have any plans, hopefully, to go to WWE? Would you mind going to TNA? We just did some work for Global Forces out there. You got Lucha Underground. You got ROH. You know, do you have any aspirations to work for any of those companies, or do you enjoy working the indie scene right now?
Man, I really, really enjoyed watching Lucha Underground. I really enjoyed watching Ring of Honor. I've done some stuff with Ring of Honor. I love that company. I would love to work with either one of those companies. I just feel like they sort of have an idea of who they want to use, and that's just sort of it. They've got so much stuff going on all the time, and it's like, unfortunately, it seems like unless I was living up in the Northeast, you know, it's like I can't just like show up to Ring of Honor's doorstep every single show. It's just not feasible for me at this point to do that. You know, and I sort of feel like that's what I would have to do if I wanted to like really bang down their door. But Lucha Underground, like, just such a different, awesome dynamic with their backstage vignettes. Like, could you imagine Samuel Shaw doing some backstage stuff there, and like how much more risque and violent, and being able to like really tap into the character on a different level there. And then, of course, getting in the ring and being able to show that I can go with a lot of these guys. Like, that would be like music to my ears if Lucha Underground said, hey, come do some shows with us, you know? And, of course, I mean, NXT is just, I mean, it's just blowing up right now. It's crazy. And, I mean, obviously, growing up, it's like, you watch WWF, you watch WWE, that's the place where you want to eventually be. If you want to be something special in this business, like, why are you not striving to get there? So, I mean, yeah, there's options out there, but I mean, in the long run, I want to make money in this business, and I think we all know there's only one place you can go to really make the money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Well, we are good friends with Lucha Underground. We had a lot of representatives on the show. We definitely would love to see Samuel Shaw on Lucha. I think it would be great, especially with, you know, the grittiness and the style that Lucha brings. I think you'll be a great addition on the show, honestly. NXT Gameboy.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier in the show, you know, your drive is something very unique that I don't really see in a lot of performers. And, you know, we do work with Ring of Honor. We do work with Global Force. We do work with Lucha Underground. Hell, we're one of the premier shows that helped bring Lucha Underground here in Baltimore. Shout out to our lead correspondent, Shinblade, on that. But you are definitely a rare breed. I can hear it. And, you know, by me going back to your matches and seeing you in TNA and just seeing the development and how you are, I really think that you're going to reach that goal that you're looking for. I think that you will definitely be a major player in this business. And I think that with your passion, you continue, you're definitely going to be someone to be reckoned with. I really have a good feeling about you. And usually when I have those feelings, I'm mostly 9 out of 10 right. So, Samuel, on behalf of the boy, NXT Gameboy, trust and believe, I think your future is going to be very bright, bro. Very bright.
Man, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep working hard and hopefully, you know, make you guys proud over there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
What we would love to see is a Samuel Shaw pop figure. You know those little pop figures that you see everywhere? Love to see one of those.
With the gloves and everything, and And the line cord, yeah.
Yeah, the little line cord,
yeah,
little long thermal
cord.
shirt, the pants. He had a little.
Not a bad idea.
Had a little pull string button so it can do like the little creepy walk, the Sam Strut.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys. I mean, let's get it going. Can you guys contact someone and make me a figure?
Hey, we know what we do know is there's a company called Custom Figures that I definitely know I could contact them. Some other people see if they would do that. Do you do that the little strut, the little creepy walk? Do you do that personally at home with your family? Or you just say that for the shows?
That's neither here nor there. That's probably none of your guys' business, but no, I'm just kidding.
Shaw's secret.
You know, some women like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. Since
we got to do the plug party.
Yeah, we got to do the plug party. Before the plug party, you being a fan of the Joker, of course. Jack Nicholson, iconic. Heath Ledger, being the Dark Knight. Now you have the new Joker in Suicide Squad. Sam, real quick, let us know your thoughts.
Oh, man. I'm hearing a lot of negativity about this Jared Leto thing, but, I mean, the guy had to know that he's stepping into a role that has some big, big shoes to fill. You know what I mean? So I can't really say. I mean, the pictures of Jared Leto look okay, I guess, but, I mean, I think Heath Ledger did phenomenal, but I think Jack Nicholson just, took that role and just, man, it's hard to say because Heath Ledger did the same thing. Heath Ledger put his own twist on it and made it something epic. But so did Jack Nicholson. I could watch those guys just, in anything that they do, they just turn into method actors. And that's something that, I really admire. And that's something that I did for my role as, Samuel Shaw, the creepy bastard. That's how I envisioned it. And mad respect for all those guys.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Well, it's time, Samuel, what we call the plug party. Go ahead, brother, plug away all your social media, contacts, how to get in touch with you, your upcoming events.
All right. Twitter and Instagram are the same. It's the Samuel Shaw, THE Samuel Shaw. And you can hit me up at shawdogarts@gmail.com, SHAWDAWGARTS@gmail.com. You can hit me up for art commissions. I can seriously draw anything your little heart desires. Hit me up. I'll draw it.
Thank you for that. Looks like we want to be hitting you up, too. Love to have some custom work from Shaw. Definitely, we can add it to our Under the Mat Radio archives and our autographs and artwork from the boys.
Yes, sir.
Love to do that. There's a lot of the boys are artists too. Shout out, superstar Billy Graham, a friend of ours. He's a great artist. Gotta give a shout out to our friend Michael Kingston. We have a couple of issues of Headlocked, and we have some Headlocked merchandise, so we always support him and Jerry Lawler. Bret Hart, of course.
Oh yeah.
You remember Sam Shaw, Lash LaRue from WCW back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a very great cartoonist as well.
Yeah, I think he does stuff for Pro Wrestling Illustrated, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. I need to
Absolutely.
do like a little artist stable. You, Lash LaRue, King, Bret. I need to speak. Of course, you be the leader for that.
No, man, I look up to all those guys as artists. Everybody's style is so unique, and I'm just a fan, at heart of. Anything that gives me inspiration makes me a better artist.
Yeah, that is true. Shout out to you, the guy. I believe it's at ILYASS. I believe that's your cover photo for Twitter, Sam. The
cool.
guy, the artist that does the artwork, you got as your cover photo, your profile pic on Twitter.
Oh yeah, Elias.
Yeah, Elias. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to him
man.
too.
He's king of the arts.
Yes. Shout out to you, Ulysses. Well, Sam, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Thank you much for your time. Hopefully we can have you come back on again soon for part 2.
Man, thank you guys very much. Have me on soon. I'd love to talk to you guys again.
No problem,
Thanks a lot, man.
You
Take
enjoy
care,
your day,
Sam
man.
Yule.
Take care.
Thank
All
you.
right.